In 2008, I will be asking voters in Northern California's 4th Congressional District to elect me as their representative in Washington in the 111th Congress, which begins January 3rd, 2009. One of my major campaign themes is government restraint. For the next few moments, I'll explain some of my perspectives on government restraint. I'll refer to the United States Constitution and how we as individuals use restraint every day. I'll talk about how I'd like to see our federal government exercise its constitutional role. I will also describe a modern-day example of government restraint here in California, but I'll start with inspiration I get from two of our nation's founding fathers. Early in 1776, Thomas Paine anonymously published a pamphlet called Common Sense that had profound impact on the formation of the United States. In it, he argues in essence that, yes, government is a necessary evil and its job is to provide security. The best form of government, according to Paine, provides the greatest amount of happiness at the least expense. Paine is clearly articulating the concept of government restraint. Somehow, today's government seems to have completely lost the idea of providing the greatest amount of happiness at the least expense. In 1801, Thomas Jefferson, in his presidential inaugural address, also outlines the idea of government restraint when he said, quote, "Fellow citizens, a wise and frugal government which shall restrain men from injuring one another, shall leave them otherwise free to regulate their own pursuits of industry and improvement, and shall not take from the mouth of labor the bread it has earned. This is the sum of good government." End quote. Today, it sometimes seems like our government has broken as many of its restraints as possible, yet there are still examples of government restraint to be seen. If you drive around in California, from time to time you will encounter one of these automated traffic speed signs, which warn you of your speed and the posted speed limit. Nearly every car drives over the speed limit, as a matter of course. Of course. The local governments have every ability to put cameras in these automated signs and automatically mail tickets to every driver who passes by, but the local governments do not do this because they are exercising restraint. And it's likely that a plan to send out automated traffic tickets everywhere would result in overloading local courts and also encourage vandalism of these machines. So we see restraint in action from the government. The United States Constitution, and more specifically the Bill of Rights, grant tremendous freedoms to us as a people. We constantly use restraint as we use these freedoms. It is understood that we have freedom of religion in this country, which means that we can practice whatever religion we choose. We might be zealous in our faith or not. Indeed, we have every right to choose no religion at all, and that is because we have freedom of religion. The Second Amendment grants us the right to keep and bear arms. We have every right as United States citizens to own guns, which does not mean we have to own guns or even use them if we have them. We exercise restraint. Our Constitution grants our government very specific powers. Congress can collect taxes a number of ways, but just because it has this power, it is not required to use it. Congress has every right to act with restraint and collect no taxes. Congress has the right to declare war, but that does not mean that we are always and only at war, just that Congress can exercise the power if it needs to. Congress has the right to impose tariffs on foreign trade, but again, is not required to. Indeed, when our nation has previously imposed high tariffs on imports in the past, there have been retaliatory trade wars and even outright bans of American products in places like Europe. It is my hope that as we move into the future, our federal government acts with greater restraint. Our Constitution and Founding Fathers were very clear in outlining a system of government restraint. This is one of my greatest inspirations for serving in the House of Representatives. I'm Theodore Turbolizard.